a written statement, but I would like that we engage, all right? Because I have received a lot of inquiries and different media houses calling me and asking me to clarify certain issues about the statements attributed to myself, and sometimes also attributed to the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party. And people are wondering where we're coming from and where we're going with this. And I thought, instead of engaging individual media houses, we can have this conversation so that we clear some of the burning issues that you people would like clarified. So it's really not one way. I'd like us to have an interactive. I'm sure mnajua kujipanga in a way each one of you wants to clear and clarify what is not clear. But right on the outset, I would like to state that I am obviously very disappointed that when we make certain pronouncements and utterances, people are now trying to drag in the party and also the person and the name of the party leader. Tunajua hiyo ni kawaida, watu wakitaka kuuza magazeti. It used to be Raila this, Raila that, Uhuru this, Uhuru that. But I would like media to know that some of us have a mind of our own, and we have the freedom to express ourselves guaranteed in the Constitution, and that should not be construed to be twisted to the extent that some of the politicians have actually started attacking the person of His Excellency the President by trying to drag him in the mud in a way that they're saying, oh, the party leader should pronounce himself, what is the party position on some of these issues. The party leader has already pronounced himself. The party leader has said he's not going to get there. He will not be drawn in this conversation about 2022. He had all the media houses. He gave them 1.5 hours in Mombasa, correct? And this question was posed. And he said he's not going to be drawn into this conversation. And please, therefore, let us all respect his right also to be taken at face value in terms of what he has himself said, in terms of, I want to deal with my program, the Big Four, the building bridges, and he spent a lot of time explaining this thing. And he also talked about his legacy issues, about leaving behind a united country, a cohesive country, his war against corruption, and he does not want to be diverted from that focus. So when I and the Secretary General make certain pronouncements, then it is bringing in the name of His Excellency. I wanted to be very, very clear with the media that when I speak as David Murathe. And I may have a position, which is my position. And I'm not taking my brief or my cue from any other person. All right? The party has not expressed the party position. And we have said as much. His Excellency the President is not going to be a candidate in 2022. Everything remaining constant. So those people who want to engage in this conversation, they'd rather better be advised to engage in this conversation with the people they will compete with. Because everything being equal, His Excellency the President has a term limit. All right? And he's on his last and final term. Let's give him space to do his work. Let him be judged by his delivery in his 2 terms of office. But having also said that, I also wanted to say it is true that the utterances we made in Bale, in Vihiga, the utterances I made in Rarieda yesterday, I stand by those sentiments. And those are my own personal views. And I believe I have a right to my opinion. And I have a reason for having and holding those views. And anybody who has an issue with my views should take me on and let's have this conversation. Let's remove emotion. Let's remove insults. Let's remove innuendo. We have a critical mass of like-minded Kenyans who believe in the politics of inclusion, people who believe we cannot have a winner-take-all kind of a dispensation, because this is what almost always breeds and leads to post-election violence every 5 years. And we have people from the Rift Valley, Masai, from the coast, from Mount Kenya, northern Kenya. We have diverse persons who share similar views as mine. And to that extent, people should be mature enough to engage in a sober conversation. And the reason I ask you guys, because you are the people who can make or break this nation. Let's try and calm the political temperatures, because we are actually trying to manage expectations. By that, what do I mean? People keep talking about MOUs and that certain people promised certain people, if we do this, we support you. And this has gone down to a point where the expectations are so high that if, for example, certain sections of this country do not support that which has now been internalized, a pure recipe for eruption. And I personally feel that in order to manage those kind of expectations, it is important that we address ourselves to those issues now and not later. Because most of you know pressure cookers. If you do not vent and you let it to release, that thing becomes a bomb and it explodes. But if we can manage those expectations, because my biggest fear, for example, and I want to be very candid with you gentlemen, if for some reason our deputy party leader was to lose the election to, let's say, somebody like Raila or somebody like Musalia or Kalonzo for that matter, or whoever, and the numbers come in and then they say we lost or I lost because these guys did not vote for me, and yet I supported them for 2 terms. How will it be? It will be, I lost because you didn't vote for me, because the numbers will be there. There will be people voting for the other candidates, right? And then it would be very easy for an eruption of a sense of betrayal. And once this thing kicks, it is not easy to manage. Let it be known right this early that there is no guarantee that that understanding cuts across the areas where they are kind of, if you don't vote for me, this will happen. That is what we are dealing with. I wanted to say Iwinjo, but I won't repeat that. But are we clear? If we're clear to that extent, I want to say yes, we're continuing with the people who are like-minded, and we're going to pursue legal interpretations and options about whether it is actually tenable for somebody who has served in the presidency, because this thing is an item, for 10 years to be able to contest for president, having served as deputy president for the 10. Because there is a lacuna in the law. And we are of the opinion, and that's a lot of us, that it is not tenable. Because you are elected on the same ticket, you are elected on the same platform. When the president is away, you become president. If for any reason the president cannot exercise his mandate, you automatically take over without having to go to the public for a fresh mandate. The older constitution was very clear, 90 days, and then you go to an election. This one you serve for the rest of the term. If you assumed before, actually, you cannot go for more than 2. You would actually just finish that one, and it is considered as 1 term. And somebody posed to me this question. Here is a situation where the president can only do 2 terms. Suppose he finishes his 2 terms. Can the president actually now become a running mate, let's say of his deputy or of another candidate?